Good afternoon. I'd like to call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners on this day of August 20th at 2 o'clock to order. Gertie, would you please call the roll?
Vice Chairperson Blackman,
Present.
Commissioner Garcia. Present. Commissioner Coleman.
Present.
Commissioner Kinlock is expected, but he's not here yet. Chairman Einhauser, Commissioner Forte, and Commissioner Davis are absent. Madam Chair, we do not have a quorum.
We will not call the meeting to order. Okay, we could do that. That's probably a very good idea. Let us move down to item 5 on the agenda, public comment. Would you please read the announcement?
Madam Chair, good afternoon. Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director for Detroit Water and Sewage Department. To make a comment, if you are in person, please sign the sign-in sheet, which I see the gentleman was doing. Your name will be called and you can proceed to the microphone. If you are online, please raise your hand by using the raise hand icon on your desktop or mobile device. If you're calling into the meeting by, by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. If you are online using the Zoom app or on the phone, after your name is called, you will get permission to unmute. In order to begin speaking, you will have to unmute yourself. To do so, press the unmute button, which is the microphone icon if you're online or using the Zoom app, or *6 if you are calling in. At the beginning of your comment, please share your full name and the community or neighborhood you live, work in, or are representing. The timer will start after your introduction. You will have a limit of 3 minutes to make your comment, and please keep your comments to public comment. This is not an opportunity or a forum to request information or data, which can be done through the city website and Legistar. If you're online to make a comment, in order for DWSD staff to follow up with you, we kindly request you complete the comment card link located in the chat, as well as located on the City of Detroit DWSD website with the event. You will only be called upon once. Once the chair closes public comment, there will be no other comments from the public, and all attendees will remain muted for the duration of the meeting. On-site comments will go first, followed by online and on the phone. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Peckinpah. One who has indicated an interest in speaking before this board today. Is there anyone in the audience who has indicated an interest in speaking before the board? Is there anyone online who has requested to speak before the board?
Madam Chair, we do have several individuals online with their hands raised. Cecily McClellan is the first one.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. McClellan.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yes.
Again, Cecily McClellan, we the people of Detroit. It is our understanding that there's an effort afloat to do a comparison of House bill and the Senate bill on water affordability. This is a premature analysis in view of the fact that the House bill is only a partial submission of the water affordability now legislation. 4 additional supportive legislations are to be presented potentially by the end of this month. Supportive legislation to be presented, like I said, by the end of this month. The Senate bill is a complete bill. It has been submitted, studied, presented at hearings over the past 2 years. This would be an apple to oranges comparison. Additionally, the Senate package mirrors traditional assistance program. It relies on variable funding sources that can fluctuate or even dry up, leaving the most vulnerable citizens scrambling to figure out how to pay unaffordable bills again. The Senate package funding mechanism supports less than 40% of the Michiganders struggling to pay unaffordable water bills. It caps the meter's fee at $3, but an independent consultant shows it would need to be approximately $6.52 per month to truly meet the needs. Another aspect to consider is that the revenue stability strengthens water systems. The steadiness of income-based water rates avoids the double cost of lost revenue from households deprived of water and the administrative cost of water shutoff. Additionally, I'd like to make a comment on the restructuring of the Detroit Lifeline program. One area of serious concern in the new proposed restructuring is the no arrearage forgiveness and the past due balance, past due balance. I think that is unrealistic. Residents seeking assistance almost always have an arrearage and are in fear of shutoff. Current residents in Lifeline do not have arrearages because forgiveness plan or funding was available early on in Lifeline to erase those arrearages. 3.5 mil remaining in Lifeline funding will assist approximately 10 to 15% of the almost 30,000 residents that were enrolled in the Lifeline, and even less of the 60,000 potential eligible for low-income program. Additional funding must be considered. House Bill 4555 has some recommendations that could be supportive. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. McClellan. Director Brown.
Just 2 points, Madam Chair. The first point is everybody should understand that the arrears of 30,000 households that were placed into the Lifeline program originally were paid off. And so we make the assumption that the majority of customers that were in Lifeline will reapply. Their arrears had been paid off. And so if they do have arrears now, they're not going to be in the thousands of dollar range. Now, there could be some outliers in there, but I'm giving you the basic premise of our thinking. And again, how many times are we going to pay the arrears off? Number two. Number three, we don't have the funding to pay off the arrears again. And so in order to be able to service as many people as possible with the dollars that we have available, and we believe more than 5,500 households will be serviced with a low-income bill with the dollars that we have available. That's number one. Number two, State Representative Deardorff is the sponsor of this bill that callers are calling in to give their support for. We'd be more than happy to invite them to either come in person or to call in on a Zoom call and to explain the benefits of their bill. I've been very clear. I support the Senate version of the bill, Senator Chang's bill. And I've always been willing to sit down with the state representative and offer suggestions on amendments. And if those amendments could be made, I could become a supporter of that bill as well. However, right now, there are things in that bill that I would venture to say 99% of the utilities in the state of Michigan cannot support. And therefore, that bill will not go forward or has very little chance of success. And so we're not going to find a perfect bill, but we certainly have to have a bill that will get the support of most utilities in the state of Michigan in order to be successful in getting the bills through. So again, we're open-minded. We'll invite, I'll invite State Representative Deardorff to call in or come in person and walk us through the version of their bill. And again, we look forward to having a discussion about the two bills. But we do understand that the bills are not, well, the state bill there's dollars in that bill. It's not enough. It's not a perfect bill, but it is one that we think could at least get through and maybe be amended to be better. And so I'll leave it there, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. I just have a question. You said we could be supportive of State Representative Deardorff's bill. But we have not had any discussions with him.
We have certainly offered, recommended amendments to the bill. And so far, we have not been successful in getting the bill amended. But we still continue to have conversations. I have a full-time attorney that is doing, the majority of their work is to work with our senators, our state reps in getting a bill through Lansing that will provide dollars for our Lifeline program.
In other words, we're doing everything we can to help our customers.
Everything we can think of, yes.
Yes, okay. Do we have someone else?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have Gwendolyn Howard. Gwendolyn Howard.
Gwendolyn? Oh, Ms. Howard.
Gwendolyn Howard.
Ms. Howard,
Hi.
please, good afternoon.
Good
Welcome.
afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
I'm also with We the People of Detroit. And again, when he's saying that he's saw the bill has 5 parts to it. Only one part has been released. So you can't compare what you don't even have, but we're going to move forward past that so that these 3 minutes don't be wasted. And we've always stated that affordability is sustainable and morally and economically superior to assistance. We've always said that Lifeline was a great assistance program, but if the funding ran out, it would not be there. And we're at that point now. Assistance has its limits. There are limits to all forms of charitable assistance, and at some point in time, it runs out. When households pay what they can afford, they are far more likely to keep paying. Well, we figure this means that water stays on for residents and revenue stays steady for utilities because I'm paying what I have. So revenue stability strengthens water systems. The steadiness of income-based water rates avoids the double cost of lost revenue from households deprived of water and the administrative costs of water shutoffs. Public health and living standards rise for all. A state where all families have access to clean, safe, affordable water is one where disease prevention, hygiene, and basic human dignity are available to everyone. And of course, reading the director's report, looking at the things for the Lifeline and versus Lifeline H2O comparison, I heard Director Brown say that, of course, they paid off all of the arrearages, but when you were saying, we were looking at it and it says new customers, well, new customers, they just move from one house to another. But if they have arrearages, so what are you saying that they went from three tiers to 1 tier? At least this is the comparison. Don't know if it's actually in play yet, but that's what we're saying. I mean, that's what's on your report. Not sure how that works out. And then the limit due to capacity, if they go over the water. So I'm in reading your Lifeline versus H2O comparison. Definitely the funding is not there, and the support that was being afforded to our customers is definitely not there. So I'm trying to see what's the comparison, because it's just a whole different program, eliminating the highlighted benefits that the original Lifeline provided, which we definitely supported you on that 150%. We told them it was the best thing going, but we also reiterated that it was an assistance program, and being a retired state worker, I know that when the funding goes out of our programs, so goes the program. They changed the name and we moved to something else. Thank you so much for hearing my opinion and comments, because we do look at what you do, and we try to make sure that we have things that add to it. But Bill HR 4555, you don't have it all, so you can't compare it. Thank you and have a great day.
Madam Chair, once again, I'll extend another offer for We the People of Detroit to come in to our offices or set up a Zoom call so that we can work through these issues and clear up some of the, just blatant misconceptions. To say that Lifeline in its current form is not an assistance program when it's based on 1.8% of household income, which is the lowest in the country. It's not an assistance program. It's an affordability program. We base the rate that 80% of the people pay in Lifeline based on 1.8% 1.8% of their household income. That's making water affordable for that family. Most programs are 3%, 2%. We took the 1.8%, the lowest number that we could find to offer to our customers. So Lifeline in its current form is absolutely an affordability program where it paid off their arrears, it gave them a rate based on their income, and it helped fix plumbing issues to get them to an average bill. That is a most compassionate, comprehensive program in America in any utility, gas, lights, or water. And now, the caller is right. Funding has been cut, and we're redesigning the program based on the dollars that are available. We can't build a program that doesn't have funding to support the program. And that's what we're doing. But again, we want to have a conversation with we the people of Detroit and its membership. And I understand there was some conflicting dates. They can pick the date. We'll make ourselves available. We can do it in person. We can do it by Zoom, whatever is most convenient. But we'd like their input. We'd like to explain why we're doing this so that we don't go out into the public venue making statements that are just blatantly false.
Thank you, Mr. Director.
Madam Chair, we have next Teresa Landrum.
Landrum?
That's correct.
Ms. Landrum, would you please proceed with your comments?
Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. Teresa Landrum from District 6, Southwest Detroit, where one of the areas that is sees the most water shutoffs to be, in the future and suffered in the past. I support, and I want to thank Mr. Brown for his willingness to sit down with we the people of Detroit and have that discussion because it's needed. But my thinking goes on the realm of this, as we see many households, low-income households, still struggling with the affordability of their water. I want to revisit the conversation about a moratorium on water shutoffs until things can be worked out with the city and we the people and the state, because as we see water shutoffs happening, we're losing families, we're losing residents, and as they go place to place. And as was mentioned earlier, new customers, right? These are the customers that have left because they can't afford the water at where they were living. They move and they probably get the water in somebody else's name. I would really like to revisit the conversation of a moratorium on water shutoffs until a true plan can be agreed upon, because we know that, as mentioned, we need more funding. Maybe we can find and generate another revenue source that would help assist the people more. So I think that's on my line of thinking, that we need a moratorium on water shutoffs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Landrum. We appreciate your comments.
Madam Chair, the next person is phone number ending in 984. 984.
Number ending in 984, would you please identify yourself? Number
Hello?
ending in 984, are you there?
Yes, this is Deborah Taylor
Deborah Taylor?
of We the People. Yes, of We the People of Detroit. And I've been listening to the comments. I'd also like to thank you all for having this opportunity to speak. Mr. Brown talked about Lifeline actually being a true water affordability plan. And what I would like to say about that, Mr. Brown, is that you are aware that We the People of Detroit, as well as other activists and groups, grassroots organizations, have been meeting with DWSD to help strengthen the bill, or not the bill, but the program, the Lifeline program, to be a more compassionate assistance program. And I think that, no one has taken any money from you all or any consulting fees. This is because we believe that water, access to safe, clean, and affordable water is something that all Detroiters should have access to. So the previous program, those features like the plumbing and arrearages, there were things that we and others advocated for. So I just want to go on record saying that. The other thing is that the 30,000 households that had arrearages paid is wonderful. And as you said, there will be some outliners. I think that what would be helpful, Detroit has pockets and buckets of money under the current administration that need to be examined. And to show true compassion, I think you really need to look at what's happening with the late fees. What are the numbers? Can we be more transparent about this figure that you gave of 1.8% of households' income? Because sometimes figures are thrown out there with no real backup and transparency to the public. So I am definitely thinking that the Devendorf House bill is one that is a true water affordability plan. And if people would go to wethepeopleofdetroit.com, at the top, you'll see a button that says take the pledge, a red button, and it will show you what true water affordability is as generated over a few years by a number of organizations, including Freshwater Future, We the People of Detroit, and a number of other grassroots organizations that came together for a couple of years to met out what is true water affordability. So taking that pledge and looking at those 11 points would be helpful for people to truly get educated and not just throw around terms that that sound good but don't have the substance. So and the other thing is, what I'm really asking you to do is to go to Mayor Duggan and say, look, there's got to be some funds somewhere. Where are those late fees? It used to be 5% of those late fees would go to help folks to offset. Plumbing is a real issue in older housing in the city of Detroit. So the plumbing component is very, very important. And those funds, from my understanding, ran out a long time ago. And so, Mr. Brown, you know, just let's set the record straight and let's give the people who've been out here working for the
Excuse me,
people,
ma'am, your
not
time is
on
up.
a salary.
You've exceeded your
Okay,
time.
thank you. Thank you.
It's my understanding, Mr. Brown, Director Brown, that you offered to meet with We the People. Did that meeting take place?
We weren't able to come up with a date that was compatible with their schedule, but we again will offer an opportunity for them to suggest a new date, and we'd be more than happy to make ourselves available.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak before this?
Yes, Madam Chair, Bridget Scallion. Bridget Scallion.
Ms. Scallion? Ms. Scallion, are you there?
May I be heard?
Yes, please.
Thank you for this time to address the board. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown, Mr. Phillips, Mr. Einhauser, Ms. Blackman, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Davis, Ms. Fort, Ms. Garcia, and Mr. Kenlock. I'm contacting you a third time since I first spoke at your June meeting to express my concern and request that you address a problem of a local landlord, Jeffrey Cohen and Greater Midtown Management LLC, that owes $38,725.69 as of the most recent FOIA data that I have. As of this arrearance, as I've been listening to, or this debt that he owes, is not only a problem for tenants, putting tenants in a situation of precarity, and also basically a fraud when tenants are signing leases that say their rent covers the utility bills when he has not, in fact, been consistently paying even the bare minimum of many of these group houses that he rents out. This almost $40,000 that you are continuing to allow this landlord to be in debt to, DWSD, is especially painful and unacceptable to me beyond the experience of these risk of these tenants. When I hear about how other people are experiencing water shutoffs and cannot afford to pay. This is a landlord who owns a mansion in Brush Park. He owns at least 3 properties in Virginia Park. I provided you packets when I made public comment at your June meeting of information from my FOIA requests that I had printed and collated over many hours at my own personal expense. I do not wish to be asking you to address a problem that should not be a problem in the first place. During my public comment, I contextualized that over 2 decades living in places around the world, rural and urban northern Thailand, urban Guatemala, urban Colombia, urban Bolivia, urban Brazil, urban Poland, not once did I experience an emergency or lack of water and sanitation, specifically the problem of no running water. In contrast to when I moved to Detroit in 2022, within 3 months, I experienced a water shutoff during a pandemic moratorium when I had COVID due to illegal water usage and landlord violation of lease by Jeffrey Cohen. So 2 months have passed since my public comment, and to my knowledge, I have not yet received communication how DWSD is holding this landlord Jeff Cohen accountable in the capacity that you have, and how DWSD will help to prevent another person from experiencing the chaos and distress that I experienced due to illegal water usage by a landlord, an exception in the shutoff moratorium.
Thank you very much for your comments. Attorney McGriff, did you want to have a comment? Yes.
We very much appreciate the information that was provided by this resident. We have taken it, and there is an active, there's an active investigation and response that's ongoing, and we'll be happy to update the board once that's completed.
We're glad to hear that because we do want to get that resolved as quickly as possible. And whatever information you can share with the board would be very appreciated. We're very much appreciated. Thank you.
Madam Chair, next we have Narelle Hemphill.
Welcome, Ms. Hemphill.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the Board of Water Commissioners, Director Brown. My name is Attorney Narelle Hemphill. I am the Legal and Policy Manager at We the People of Detroit. And I want to first start off by saying we appreciate DWSD reaching out to schedule a meeting. And it does look like something may be in the works for us coordinating a meeting at the end of this month. So I know there's been teams working on that. I just wanted to let everybody know that since it was mentioned on this call. And then I want to echo all the things that those who came before me said about the need for a moratorium on water shutoffs, the need for water affordability, true water affordability that is sustainable, that has dedicated funding, that ensures that residents have access to clean, safe, and affordable water. To our knowledge, there's been no plumbing dollars with the Lifeline plan. And I didn't see a mention. I saw a mention some conservation efforts, but I was just curious to know if in the Lifeline H2O, if there will be dollars for more than just plumbing audits, but plumbing repairs. And then additionally, I want to lift the need for the support of Representative Emily Devendorf's bill, House Bill 4555. And I think it's important to note that there is one bill that's in the Senate, Senator Chang's bill, which is a water assistance bill. And then that is a bill package, a water assistance bill package. And then there is a single bill of a 5-bill package, that's House Bill 4555. That is a water affordability package that is in the House of Representatives. I know there's been a little bit of talk today, and for the community members who listen in and who ask us questions later, I think it's imperative that we are clear on what we're actually talking about, because I know we work with this every day, but many people don't. And then with the Affordable Water Now package, we know that there is a pathway to pay for that. And then rates can be used to pay for water affordability programs. There is a study that was done, commissioned by the Well Coalition, that looks at 6 cities and the viability of a water affordability program that is ratepayer funded. You can find that on We the People of Detroit's website under our reports and resources. And also, I just want to lift with my remaining time that Detroit has a strong history of not only water water advocacy, but laying the foundation for what has been used across the nation as a platform for water affordability. I think this is also an integral time for us to continue to be a leader and find creative solutions to water affordability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hemphill. It's my understanding that we're working with any legislators who are willing to help us resolve our water concerns for our customers. So it is not a matter that we're not available to them and that we're not making comment to them and giving them our best information and feedback. So I want everyone to recognize that we do everything we can to make sure we are able to resolve water affordability for our customers. Is there anyone else who has asked to speak before this committee, before this board? I'm sorry.
Oh, Madam Chair, we do have several other people online. I do want to, through the chair, want to remind people in the audience, please leave your phones on vibrate and please refrain from talking during the meeting. The next person is Tiffany DuPont Anderson.
Anderson?
Anderson.
Mr. or Mrs., I'm sorry.
Ms. Anderson.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
My name is Tiffany DuPont Anderson, and I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm also involved with We the People of Detroit and the Water Peeps, and I am a previous Lifeline recipient. So I understand that the funds are not currently available for everyone to be on the Lifeline program. What I'm concerned about is several times Director Brown said that he's concerned about the utilities not being able to afford it. Well, what about the residents not being able to afford it? So the more that the residents are not able to afford their water, the more in jeopardy those families are for health issues, for mental health issues as well as physical health issues. So I believe we should turn the lens from what the multi-billion-dollar utilities can afford to what the residents of the city of Detroit can afford. Income-based water bills are working in other places. Philadelphia has already proven the effectiveness of income-based water bills through its TAP program, which generated nearly $5 million in revenue for the city's water department. So we're looking for funds. We asking for funds. That right there, an example of the way through income-based water bills that they generated funding to continue the program to run. The thing that I'm concerned about mostly is that the concern is that we had over almost 30,000 people on the Lifeline program previously, and the majority of those people were kicked off because now we know there's less than 10,000 on the program. So there was another comment about the arrearages. Well, if you weren't able to pay the bill with the Lifeline program in place in your home and you are now having arrearages from being on the program, then shutting them off the program is going to make further arrearages and make them further in debt and further at risk for all types of issues. They can't cook, they can't wash their clothes, they can't bathe. Those are health issues. So what I like to do is redirect the Board of Water Commissioners to the residents of the city of Detroit and the concerns for their health that can be handled through a water affordability program versus a water assistance program.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome. As I stated earlier, the director has made himself available to meet and discuss these issues in detail and to try to work through the issues that you're concerned about, and certainly we are concerned about in providing our customers with safe, affordable water.
Madam Chair, the next person is Tiana Starks.
Tiana Starks, welcome. Ms. Starks?
Hi, yes. Thank you for having for this time today. My name is Tiana Starks, and I am also with We the People of Detroit. I am calling because we were notified that there is going to be a comparison of the Senate bill package on water assistance and the House bill 4555, which is only a portion of Representative Emily Devendorf's Affordable Water Now package, because it hasn't been fully introduced. I'm concerned that there cannot be a real comparison of the two. I'm also concerned because I was on a call yesterday with someone who was representing the Senate package, and they stated that the Senate bills will support less than 40% of all of those in need in the state of Michigan completely. And it's been stated that there is a funding mechanism, but the funding mechanism doesn't get close to assisting everybody who needs this support. So that is a concern. And I'd like to understand how that is going to be mitigated. There's also an opt-out for utilities to not participate in the program, and which further indicates to me that there's a way for utilities to fund a true affordability program outside of this fund that doesn't even cover everybody who needs the support, which is also indicated in the report that the Well Coalition Commission that Narelle mentioned earlier. I also want to talk about, Mr. Brown, you mentioned that the Lifeline is an affordability program, but there is a difference between assistance and affordability. And the fact that the program is being restructured is evidence that it falls under the category of assistance, because affordability is a long-term solution to water, the inability to afford the rising cost of water. It is based on income-based bills, and it includes a funding mechanism that is that allows a program to self-fund, such as what was mentioned in Philadelphia. Assistance, on the other hand, is a pot of money that is variable and will run out. Thank you again for my time, and I hope that some of these questions will be answered.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, the next person is Christy Meyer. Christy Meyer.
Christy Meyer, are you available? Welcome.
Thank you
Please
so
proceed.
much. Really appreciate the opportunity today, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Christy Meyer, and I'm the campaign director of the Water Equals Life Coalition, representing members within the Detroit Water Sewer District's footprint. The coalition is made up of nearly 30 local, Michigan-based, national, and international entities, and our mission is to create a statewide water affordability program where every Michigander has safe, affordable water in every tap, no exceptions. I just want to echo my colleagues' statements, but I did want to say that we really appreciate the board's concern for their low-income residents struggling to pay their water bills and put food on the table. It is our understanding that there was supposed to be a comparison presentation between a Senate water package and a House water affordability and shutoff protections piece of legislation, House Bill 4555, today. And again, that's just one bill of 5 that will make up the Affordable Water Now package. I appreciate the desire to learn more about the various pieces of legislation, but knowing that the rest of the House Affordable Water Now package has yet to be introduced, I think any presentation is a bit premature, and that those that worked on the Affordable Water Now package has not been asked to present to the commissioners, and we'd love to do that once it's all introduced. I would submit that any presentation or discussion about the Affordable Water Now package prior to the full introduction, and from those that have worked so hard on the package, including those that have been impacted by water insecurity, is premature, potentially slightly biased, and harmful to the efforts of ensuring every family has a water bill they can afford. Having said that, we do believe both packages are needed and necessary. The Senate package, while providing necessary temporary support to those in need, may not fully realize the relief many low-income families require to be able to maintain running tap water, as we've heard. Also, at some point, assistance will run out. The Affordable Water Now package provides income-based water rates, not a discount on a water bill, a path to full water debt relief, limited protections against water shutoffs, tenant protections, prohibitions on liens due to water debt, and so much more. The point of a water affordability program is to ensure low-income residents have access to safe, affordable water in every tap and the ability to pay for food and other basic needs. Absent these protections and supports, low-income families continue to be penalized for being poor and eventually might find themselves homeless and needing more wraparound supports. Despite what we have heard some people state about adjusting water rates to income-based rates, we know this program can and has worked. We also know that when water rates are adjusted to income-based rates, those households within the program have water that keeps flowing and revenue continues to flow to water utilities. This is because when households pay what they can afford, they're more likely to continue to be able to pay, creating a more sustainable source of revenue for the water system that serves them. And I'll just end by stating that the steadiness.
Please conclude because your time has expired. Please
Okay.
conclude.
Yeah, I'll just respectfully request that any presentation today only focus on the Senate package, and that we would love to talk to you once the House package is fully introduced. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Director Brown.
Madam Chair, I think that there's one thing that we would all agree on, that the Senate bill does not have enough money in it. It's my understanding there's about 14 million. And if Detroit got 7, that would take our program in Lifeline from 3.5 million to 10.5 million. Isn't it better to at least get the Senate bill through while others work on the 5 different bills in the lower house? Isn't it better to at least get the $14 million in play while we all work to make a better bill in the House? And that's what, I think that if we could all come together and agree to pull in the same direction, it would be in the residents' best interest that we all are trying to serve. But to leave money on the table while we debate the merits of the 2 different bills seems to be counterproductive to what we all want. Let's at least get the small amount of money that's in the Senate bill into place statewide so that Detroit could receive a portion of that and triple the number of households that we currently are servicing or will be able to service with the program that we're going to outline as H2O in a few minutes. And so I think we all want the same thing. We do. We want the same thing. And it's more than one way to get there. And I would just suggest that let's focus on the Senate bill because it has dollars in that particular bill. And by the way, it has bipartisan support. It has Republican support that you're going to need to get it through. And the other bills haven't even been introduced yet.
Madam Chair.
It's just mind-boggling that you don't want to even discuss the contrast between the 2 bills when in fact, I think that conversation would at least convince some people that it's in the best interest to at least get the first bill through, the Senate bill, which has bipartisan support, which has not enough money, but some money to be able to expand our program from 5,000 to 15,000 households almost immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Brown. Did you have a question, Commissioner Knapp?
A question, but more so a statement as it relates to the reality of where we are right now. Right now, Lansing is at a total stalemate. And if we can get anything through any one of those chambers that would benefit the citizens of the city of Detroit is a good thing. The House, we don't know what the House is going to do. And anyone who's speaking to wait on a House to act on anything, they're not paying attention to the reality of where it is. We also know what we experienced when we waited on a House a few months ago, and we saw what we got. So when we're able to get some sort of movement out of any of these chambers to bring money to address all of these calls we hear each month that we've been hearing for years as it relates to finding some sort of response to the water affordability need in our community. So this is something that we take seriously. And when we see action and an opportunity to get something across the finish line, we all, as the director said, need to be on the same page. We saw what division did last session. And so right now, this is what's in front of us, and let's try to get it passed, if possible, in Lansing.
Thank you.
Are there any others who have anything
Yes,
to
yes,
say?
Madam Chair, there's 3 other individuals, but we do have a question for you, Madam Chair. We did at the beginning ask for on-site comments first, but there are individuals who showed up after that. It's up to your
We will
discretion.
We will entertain their comments.
Okay. We do have the 3 more members of the public. JR Block Club is next. On
Sierra?
Zoom. On Zoom.
Yes,
Oh,
hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi, my name is Katie Moreno-Elst, and I am the director of the Burns Seneca Fisher Junior Block Club, as well on the executive board for the Burns Seneca Fisher Block Club. We are in the Pingree Park area, and I'm calling today because we are looking to get some assistance on a flooding issue in Latham Park on the corner of Moffett and Seneca. Unfortunately, this is the park that's in the news from the recent deadly shootout, gang related. Our community is pretty rocked right now. However, this flooding issue, I know we love Brian. Hello, Brian. He's been to our block club meetings. This has been an ongoing issue since 2017. We've been waiting for repairs to be done. Cars are getting hit. Ice trucks have to come out and to thaw it. Just a broken storm line. We thought it was going to be addressed per my conversations with Brian once the asphalt companies got reopened, and then in spring. And I think, you know, the end of August is getting close to fall again. The residents in our block club meeting, it's on our agenda every single month. I'd like to see something finally get done about this. Again, our block club has been asking for assistance in reporting these issues since 2017 on the Improve Detroit app. And we're just not getting any help. It's severe flooding, the intersections. And in the winter, it's a huge ice block. So I'm hoping you guys can maybe get things moving faster for us, or figure out why it's taken since 2017 for us to get any kind of assistance over here.
Thank you very much. Yes,
This week.
I heard you. I hope you heard the response. It will be investigated this week. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
yes.
iPhone is the name of the next Zoom person. iPhone.
iPhone, would you please identify yourself for us, please?
Hi, my name is Toya Oglesby. I'm assuming that's me. I don't know why it won't say my name, but either way, I am also part of the Burns Seneca Fisher Block Club. I am the president. You just made comment that it will get addressed this week. So I guess I don't need to reiterate all the concerns that we have had over the several years. I am excited that it will be addressed. And if for any reason that it's not, we will be back. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and it will be resolved. Thank you. Who,
Chair, the last
yes.
person that had their hand raised was D'Amico Williams.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Williams, let me just thank you, first of all, for meeting with the director on the issue that we made room on his schedule and yours to address your concerns. So thank you for coming. Please proceed.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I will have my response in formal writing coming up in regards to recommendations from Hydrate Detroit in regards to the new Lifeline plan. I don't want to speak too soon, but I want to speak about the water arrearage portion. You know, I championed water amnesty, and I've been calling that ever since 2014 and before, when households could not afford the debt that was placed on the property, and also through erroneous billing errors and discrepancies through the meters and also through the billing practices of the Water and Sewage Department. I just want to say I really would like to hear how many households got saved and zeroed out of Lifeline. That's what I want to hear. And I'll reserve my comments from that. But what I really want to say is we had our Hydrate Detroit had our Share Water donation drive Saturday, August the 9th. We raised $1,000 and we're getting a match. More donations are coming in to help people stay connected to clean running water and to pay down their arrearages, mostly off Lifeline. And I have 3 clients that were trying to recertify through Lifeline, and they have not been accepted. I would like for those clients to be rectified because their bills have went back up and they lost the benefit because they were not able to recertify in the time allotted. I also want to say shout out to Lane Coleman. Sorry, we're going to lose you, sir. But I also want this board to come back to the community. Will you please amend your calendar to do a community tour and go back to being in the community and having your meetings in the community in all of our 7 districts? I also want to address to this board Gary Brown's behavior and his disrespect to Auntie Nay, a client that I represented in regards to her meeting that she was to have about her flooding. It has not been rectified. I would hope that Director Brown apologizes and rectify her situation because Auntie Nay is a victim. She has suffered loss of revenue for her programs not being able to happen because of the flooding on the block, and it's around the entire block of Yellowstone. I represented her for years, and I have enough evidence to show that Auntie Nay deserves some type of restitution or some type of help to prevent flooding at her residence and also on her village. So please do whatever you can to rectify that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I have never known the director to be disrespectful to anyone. So I just want to counter that comment. I've always known him to be very respectful and very amenable to the concerns of our customers. So is there anyone else?
Madam Chair, we'll go back to the on-site comments, then the in-person.
Okay, we have one person who has asked to be recognized, and that's Mr. Paul Jackson, who will be speaking for Mr. Nunez. Is that correct?
I don't know who Nunez is, but that Nunez, I don't know who they are. They're not with us.
So you're Paul Jackson? Okay, please, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing me. I just wanted to say quickly that I'm really proud of the work that everyone, I heard people representing in the Water Equals Life Coalition. We were proud to offer support to that. Our organization is an environmental action council, but we're staffed completely by young people, from the area. We are young people. And one of the things is that we want both bills. We've said that. We think that both bills actually complement each other in a way. But it's an incumbent upon us, and with respect, Director Brown, it's important for us not to create a false dichotomy of opposition between them when we say, why not get one while we wait for the other? I understand the spirit behind that, but we're actually pushing for both. And the reason why we're pushing so hard to get water affordability in this moment is because of the partisan situation in Lansing. What happens in a situation where there's a built-in partisan dichotomy or a set of oppositions is that they'll take one bill, and once they take that bill, once the Republicans lend their support to that, that'll shut the door on anything that's more long-term and sustainable. So that's just the law of American or Western politics, the unity of opposites. So because we're dealing with a group of people who are intransigent and hell-bent on austerity, we know that there's not enough money, and if they can actually use that headline, that'll be the wedge in the door that'll not allow us to actually push for something more long-term. And as working class people, we suffer that contradiction in this system all the time, where the immediate pressures, where we do need support and assistance, those get put against our need for long-term structural and systemic change, and we're forced to choose. And every 4 years or every 2 years, we feel that pressure. It's a false dichotomy, but it's imposed on us with real consequences. So we're just asking that we broaden our perspective again to understand it from not an austerity mindset, and legislatively not think about it from an austerity mindset, but an abundance mindset. that we can push for both bills, and that we don't want to get into the practice of contrasting them when we don't have the full information from the one to see how they actually work together. And we don't want to get, we're not against each other, so we don't want to get pulled into this oppositional thing that's going on up in Lansing while we're up here trying to push for the immediate needs of people to be taken care of, but also fighting for long-term systemic change and for true water affordability, which is what we need. So thank you so much.
Mr. Jackson, let me just say that we'd love to get your contact information. We'd love to build a relationship and, get your perspective. And I just asked you to think about 2 points. And I work on water affordability issues all over the country, not just in the state of Michigan and in the city of Detroit. And if you put a bill in the state of Michigan that basically has a moratorium on shutoffs and also allows the more wealthy communities in this state, in Oakland County, to opt out, they will opt out. And then there won't be enough money to run the program. So there are a lot of details in the bills that we all need to work through and understand. But again, we have a great program, Lifeline. It is just not funded. It doesn't have long-term funding. So if we can get additional funding in order to triple the number of households right now, people that are suffering right now, while these issues get worked through, I think that that's the more prudent way to go. But again, we'd love to hear your perspective, your group's, young people's perspective on this particular issue so that we can incorporate it into our thinking and the way that we lobby around the country for these issues. The issue isn't as much about Michigan as it is, there needs to be federal dollars. The energy sector has $4 billion that go to low-income customers in the electrical and gas industry, and the water industry has zero. And so you're right, it's a much bigger issue than just what's happening in Detroit, what's happening in the state. It's a national issue that needs to be resolved federally if you want long-term permanent funding. DTE has had this funding for as long as I've been at DWSD, which is more than 12 years, and we get zero in the water industry. So that's the real long-term solution to the problem. But we'd love to sit down, get your perspective. I don't disagree with anything that you said. I just
said, Director Brown, you have made extra efforts to reach out to the energy sector to try to get them to include water in their program without any success.
I took our vice chair to a committee where to a conference out of, I forgot which city, maybe Colorado, wherever we were. I'm trying to get someone from the water industry on the board of the energy sector, and we failed. We just weren't able to get enough votes to make that happen. So we've got to do a better job of lobbying. And once again, we are much better and more successful when we do this together, when we're all fighting in this, pulling in the same direction, even though we may have nuances, differences in our approach. So again, thank you.
Thank you for input. Is there anyone else?
Madam Chair, that is all the public commenters.
Thank you very much. We will now close public comment and move on to communications. First item is item 2025-195. What is the will of the commission?
Madam Chair, move to receive and file.
Moved and supported, Attorney McGuire.
Madam Chair, we have to go back to the beginning. We took public comment out of order before Commissioner Kenlack joined us, so we've got to go back and approve the agenda and the minutes. We have to start back at the beginning.
3, which is the approval of the agenda. Is there motion?
Motion. So moved, Madam Chair.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Aye.
Or say aye. Pardon me. Thank you. And the next is the approval of the minutes of July 17th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Been supported, please, those in favor, please say aye. Motion carried. We are now back into items from commissioners, are we now? Let's see, public comment, communications, receipt of correspondence. We're on 5A, receipt of correspondence, and we had a motion. Have a motion and a support? All right, all those in favor of receiving the correspondence as presented, please say aye.
Aye. I'm like, what?
All right, okay, so do we have 2 ayes? We have 3 ayes and 1 nay. Motion carried. To say at this time, sir?
Absolutely. Lane, it has been an extreme honor.
Okay, go ahead, dear.
This is a surprise, but you know, the city of Detroit is better because you were here. And so was Detroit-based businesses are better because you were here. And I'm looking forward to continue to see you make marks in our community, and I'll be seeing you around. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Wasn't quite understanding his nay vote at first. But we are adhering to your request to move on, and we certainly have been enriched by the contribution you have made on this board. We can't do anything but wish you all the best in the future, but we will miss you, and we thank you for your service to the people of the city of Detroit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I say a few words? First of all, I want to thank all you guys, Mayor Duggan, for the opportunity.
I'm teasing, go ahead.
Board, just a few comments. What we've done and what you guys continue to do is very important work. So please continue to do it. It's been very enlightening for me, and I have conversations around the country. That's one of the reasons why I'm stepping down. Just my day job moves me around, but I'm always trying to explain to people in other cities and people here why the water bills are what they are and what goes into the system and what it takes to run it. The other one I want to thank you guys on is finally getting to the opportunity where we're starting to team local businesses with non-local businesses. I think that's very, very important to the citizens and the city of Detroit, and it keeps some of the economic development and funding here in the city. And the last comment, the other one was water affordability. You continue to do that, but the last one, Gary, you mentioned something, and maybe that's where I can help. If there's any other outside sources as far as energy boards where it would be a conflict for you guys, then maybe I can be an advocate. So would love to help in any way I can. But thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Director Brown. And Mr. Sam Smiley, I know you, I'm still gonna text you though, okay?
Ex-commissioners do have a lineup to administration, so you won't have any trouble getting a response. Director Brown, were you about to say something?
Or just stuck a piece of candy in my mouth, but you know, I want to thank Lang for his participation in the last few years, and we're going to have a more formal presentation and farewell when we've got all the board members back together in the fall. So again, thank you not only for your support on this board, but for what you do in the community, on the DIA and all the other boards that I know you sit on. And we've appreciated it. And I want you to walk away knowing that you helped to move the ball forward here. And we're going to take it and take it to the next level. But we're better off for having you on this board than we were before you got here. So thank you.
The next item on the agenda is items from commissioners. Are there any items that the commissioners have not brought before this committee that they wish to this board that they wish to at this time? I want to bring up something that I've heard, and I think I brought it to the commission, to the director's attention. I don't know where I came across this, but it was an issue about the danger of using bottled water. So I've asked him to look into the science behind it, if there is some, and share it with us at some future date. I think the concern is that the plastic bottles, and they emit chemicals. So I think at least we should be aware of that, and to the extent that if we need to advise the general public about it, that would be a role we could take on.
Madam Chair, can I add to that? Because I've been doing some personal research, because I drink a lot of water. And what I've learned, and everybody remember this, the bottled water that you're buying, you don't know where it was. And what I mean, it could have been sitting on a dock in the sun for 4 or 5 hours. And that really speeds up the process of these micro plastic particles getting in there. So just be conscious of, if you buy it, where you store it, a hot garage, a hot closet. So all that plays into it. And we're very fortunate here in Detroit and in Michigan. We have great water. So most of the water I drink at home comes out of the filter in my refrigerator.
Mine comes out of the tap and the filter. And I'm very proud to be able to say that to anyone who asks me about bottled water or any other source. Thank you very much for that comment. Are there any commissioners? Then we have no unfinished business. So the next item of the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Chair. Madam Chair, I move approval of the entire consent agenda.
Support. Properly supported. Is there anyone who would like to remove any item from the consent agenda at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Mr. Director, I believe your report is next.
Madam Chair.
Oh, I missed something. What?
10A, new business.
Just a minute.
At the
Hey, I
bottom,
have 2025-176.
no, 10A, page 3 of your agenda.
Okay, one second.
2025-184.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Under new business, 10A, what is the will of the board?
Chair. I move that the Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit Water and Sewer Department, 1, approves the collective bargaining agreement for 2025 through 2028 between DWSD and Association of Municipal Engineers. And 2, to authorize the director to execute the collective bargaining agreement. And 3, to authorize the director to take such other action as may be necessary to accomplish the intent of this vote.
Support. Supported. Do we have anyone who wants to speak on this issue? We show there's our Jones and Branch person. Oh, I can't even read. Is that right? Pension.
Then, yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. Nakia Branch Penson, Deputy General Counsel. Before you today is the collective bargaining agreement between DWSD and the Association of Municipal Engineers. Just as a little bit of background, these terms were negotiated and was ratified by the union on July 14th of 2025. There are 26 members of the Association of Municipal Engineers. They're all classified as engineers with 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the economic impact on DWSD's budget includes relations to vacation days, a signing bonus, and an increase in the wages, the salary bands for the wages, as noted on the memo that was provided. Happy to answer any questions that you may have about the collective bargaining agreement.
The questions that we wish to have answered at this time? I think when there's been a bargaining agreement, Mr. Director, that it might be helpful to the board to hear the specific details, maybe in a closed session. I don't know how that should be handled, but in the future, I think we should have the details of the bargaining agreement before it's acted upon. But we're all satisfied that this has happened, and we congratulate our attorneys and our bargaining team for bringing this forward.
Madam Chair, you were provided a copy of all of the provisions. But yes, in the future, we do have a couple coming up, hopefully within the next month or 2, and we can schedule a session to go in detail about them.
Much. There's nothing further. All those in favor of approving this agreement, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried, and thank you very much. The next item is item 2025-196. I believe. Well, says Phillips. Oh, there you are. You came up invisibly. Mr. Phillips.
Is your mic turned on? I didn't.
You know, for some reason, you could get it now. Okay. All right. Madam Chair, thank you very much. Commissioners, good afternoon. Matthew Phillips, Chief of Staff, Chief Customer Service Officer. I'd like to take a few moments today to discuss a proposal and a recommendation for changing the current Lifeline or restructuring the current Lifeline program, and something that we're calling H2O. So the second version of Lifeline. So if you don't mind, I'd like to take a couple moments just to kind of walk you through what the current state of the Lifeline program looks like. We do know that, you know, as you've heard many times today from several of the members of the public that have come forward, that we do have limited funding. The program back in 2022 had nearly 30,000 participants in the program. This year, we currently have just a little over 8,000 participants, and that's based on the funding that is available. If we look at the current year, which is the fiscal year 2025, we have approximately $11 million that is in play to help fund the Lifeline program. That's a combination of state funds that come from the state of Michigan, as well as the RAP funds. And so what we do know is going into the next fiscal year, which starts for us on the Lifeline program October 1st, that there will only be $3.5 million in funding available. So a considerable drop from the 11 million that we saw, or that we currently are using today, down to $3.5 million. We do know that the federal funds, which was formerly known as LIWAP, which is the Low Income Household Water Affordability Program, was not appropriated in the federal budget for 2025 nor for 2026. We do also know that the state of Michigan Water Affordability Bill did not pass in December of 2024, and we'll just use the current state of the water funding in the state of Michigan is most definitely uncertain, as you've all heard today. What changes are we proposing going into the next fiscal year, which starts on October 1st? And that is that the current funding that is available will not serve all the residents in need. Obviously, what I just spoke about, going from 11 million down to 3.5 million, we can easily see the math there. It's just not going to support another 8,000 individuals in the Lifeline program. But what we do want to do, and this is what I'm about ready to present to you, of the changes from Lifeline in the current state to Lifeline H2O, is that we still want to hold the true mission of Lifeline in its entirety, which is an affordable bill, an affordable water bill, along with reducing shutoffs as much as possible to all of our vulnerable residents. So what we're proposing in order to stretch the dollars, the $3.5 million. So our recommendation to the board, and this is what I'm asking you all to consider today, and as an asterisk, I will be back, hopefully, I will be back on September 17th to provide you all with a formal policy change as we move into October 1st. But 200% of the federal poverty level will stay in place. So those residents in the city of Detroit that are under 200% or less of the poverty level will still be eligible. We're going to change the three-tiered system of 18, 43, or 56 to a $34 a month all-in bill. The reason for the change is that, one, administratively, it will help us concentrate more dollars to our residents, as opposed to the administrative burden of having a three-tiered system. Second of all, 90%, 89.5% of all of our current Lifeline members are on Tier 1, which is the $18 a month bill. So moving it to one bill definitely makes sense. You will still, if you're on Lifeline, you will still be afforded shutoff protection. We also will be implementing, which has always been there, which is a 60 days. If you're 60 days past due, you'll be eligible for termination from the program, which is our policy. One of the recommendations from Hydrate Detroit was to move that to a 90 days to give our residents that are on Lifeline an extra 30 days. So we've incorporated that recommendation from Hydrate Detroit. If for some reason you do get removed from the program because of failure to pay after 90 days, you can re-enroll into the program without reapplying. So we've made it really easy. You get back in the program as long as you make up the payments that are past due. So as long as you become current. You will get up to 6 CCFs of water usage per month, which is approximately 4,000 gallons. We do know that 90% of all of the individuals that are in Lifeline use 6 CCFs or less. So again, it's an administrative cost factor that's involved here. And then we will provide water conservation measures after 3 consecutive months of water usage over 6 CCFs. So if the household is using more than 6 CCFs or 4,000 gallons of water on average for 3 consecutive months, we will, as long as the funds are available, we will reach out to that household and we will conduct an audit within the household to see what might be happening. We'd also like to install water conservation measures, things like faucet aerators that will slow down the flow of water, low flow shower heads, bladder buddies in the toilets, as well as do a dye test in all of the toilets in the house to see if there is a leak. So we will do some things as a proactive measure within the household. I'll pause there because I know I haven't taken a breath yet either, so I'll just pause there to see if there's any questions.
I have a question, Mr. Phillips. So if a customer is 90 days past due and their benefits are terminated, how do they re-enroll?
They can contact us directly and make a payment to catch up on whatever is past due. So in other words, if they were 3 months behind, the thought process is that they would be just a little less than $100 in arrearages. And so they could reach out to another agency. They could reach out to Hydrate Detroit, We the People of Detroit, the Heat and Warmth Fund, United Way, or even the state of Michigan does have SER, which is the state emergency relief, that can pay up to $600 currently. So it would be a way for
payments.
Call us. We will have a hotline set up and available directly to DWSD.
Commissioner Garcia.
Yes, thank you. So all these changes are going to be coming into effect immediately, or is it October 1st or October?
Yeah, the current Lifeline program is what it began on October 1st of 2024 and runs through September 30th, 2025. So the current benefits expire on September 30th. And so this would be, if approved by the board, this would come in, the policy would come into play on October 1st.
The Lifeline program has changed, right? Drastically. And how many households do you think on a percentage is that going to affect the city of Detroit and their residents?
Changes that we put into place is to try to stretch those dollars. And if we look at the math today, you have $11 million that's available and it's assisting 8,000 individuals, going down to $3.5 million, but raising the tier to $34 from 18 would allow us to put somewhere between 4,500 and 5,500 residents into the program. So we're still looking at more than half of what we have today with a third or 2/3 less funds than what we had in the current year for Lifeline. So we think we've done a lot of homework with this, Commissioner Garcia, to try to stretch these dollars as far as we can so that we can help as many residents as possible have an affordable bill on a monthly basis.
The issue is, and maybe this goes back to you, Mr. Director, is the educational aspects of informing the residents about, one, not falling behind, obviously, but also to understand the changes that's hit not only nationally, but locally, but also that the fault isn't from the Detroit Water Department, that it happens to be the funding, because people don't always separate it. Right away, they start, assuming. But I think that it's up to us, and it's up to you, sir, to start maybe, somehow notifying our residents that these changes are coming, and the uncertain times is hitting us. And I think I think it's just a proactive, I would recommend, Madam Chair and Mr. Director.
And Brian and his PR team, Brian Peckham Paul, they're putting together that campaign right now, so that once we're not asking you to do anything today. We're giving you the information. We'll be bringing you a policy change at the next meeting. Once that's approved, we'll start a campaign to get this new information out.
Thank you. And all the agencies, if possible, sir.
Yes.
Madam Chair, just to conclude my presentation today is that I did include, and it's in your packet of materials as well, and I'd be more than happy to explain it. But I did include a chart that shows a comparison of what the current state of Lifeline is, and then the green section on the right-hand side is what the current state or what the future state would look like, just so you can have a side-by-side comparison and some of the reasons. I think the only one piece that I will explain on this page here is that how do we get to the $34? That's probably like the biggest question. How do we go to 18 to 34? The previous $18, as Director Brown has mentioned today, was based on the average household income of a SNAP recipient in the city of Detroit, and that was based on data from 2018 and using a multiplier of 1.8%, which Director Brown already mentioned today. That's where the $18 comes from. What we've done is we've re-looked at that data because the last time we did this was several years ago, and we are using data from 2023, which is still using the same data, which is the average SNAP recipient in the city of Detroit has an income of about $20,000. We are using the Senate bill that was presented in December of 2024, which is 2% of the household income. So just a slight change there from 1.8 to 2%. And so that's where the $34 a month comes from. So I just wanted to make that one explanation just so you understood the $34. That would be the biggest question.
Just emphasize that, Matt, we've set this program up so that if the Senate bill is successful and we receive additional dollars, we already fit their criteria and we can seamlessly roll these additional people into Lifeline. The original Lifeline program did not fit the guidelines for the new Senate bill dollars that we are hoping will become available. So now we're in line with the state in that bill. And if in fact we do receive additional dollars, and I'm cautiously optimistic that we will receive the lion's share of that Senate bill, we can seamlessly roll more people into the program because we will already be aligned with their criteria.
Any other questions, Madam Chair?
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. Did we vote on that?
You might want to receive and file the presentation.
There's a motion to receive and file a presentation.
Chair.
And Locke, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. In favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The next item is item C. The resolution to replace Commissioner Coleman's assignment on the Finance and CPO Committee. Mr. Director, do you have a recommendation?
I do, and this is a little touchy because we don't have all the board members here, but I would suggest that
not your comment, but go ahead.
Delay this action because we have Commissioner Coleman here, and he won't be here September 1st, and we need to add 2 additional people to the committees that he would have been on. And so the CIP committee and the Finance committee, I'd recommend that Jane Garcia, if she'd be willing to accept, would go on to the CIP committee. That would give us a quorum. And then we'd ask Commissioner John Henry to go on to the Finance committee, and that would give us a quorum there. And this would be temporary until the mayor either appoints a replacement, or if he chooses to allow, the new mayor in January to do that, we would hold our committee assignments until until January. But of course, this board could also elect to switch up on committees if you saw fit. I mean, I think you need everybody in the room to make that decision, but I would just make that recommendation to give you something to think about.
Names again.
For the CIP would be Commissioner Jane Garcia, and for finance would be Commissioner Davis.
Madam Chair, I move to approve, Madam Chair, I guess I'll read the resolution. Madam Chair, I move that that upon receipt and review of the resignation of Commissioner Lane Coleman from the Detroit Board of Water Commissioners, the board finds it necessary to temporarily fill vacancies in the finance and CIPO subcommittees until a new board member is named. After due consideration, the board appoints Commissioner John Henry Davis to fill the vacancy on the Finance Subcommittee, and Commissioner Jane Garcia to fill the vacancy on the CIPO Subcommittee, and also authorizes the director to take such other action as may be necessary to accomplish the intent of this vote.
Thank you very much. The record reflects that both commissioners have been contacted and have agreed to accept these assignments.
Did we get a support?
Did I hear support? I thought I did. I didn't hear support. Commissioner Coleman supported. The Commissioner supported. There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you and congratulations to you, Commissioner Garcia, and to Commissioner Davis in his absence. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the director's report.
Madam Chair, and I'll be brief. I've talked quite a bit today, and then I'll turn it over to the deputy director to talk about some of the numbers. But I just want to talk about Easy Pay for just briefly, because it turned out to be a phenomenal program that has far exceeded our expectations. We started this program last year, July 29th, and we have more than 35,000 households that are participating in this program. And what's even more incredible is that we have just under 70% of the people in Easy Pay that are making their payments and have either paid off all of their arrears or are current in this particular program. That means that they're not only paying their monthly bill, but they're paying a portion onto their arrears, and they're able to pay them off. And, you know, we've all given this a lot of thought, because we like the number to go higher than 70%. And we're trying to understand why, what's causing this. But just anecdotally, and we're pulling some data, but anecdotally, you're really giving people hope. You're giving them a sense that they can get out from under the debt that they have by giving them 3 years to pay it off. And so that gives them a smaller amount to pay on. And they're actually, in many cases, paying it off before the 3 years, because they see a chance to get out from under the debt. And so we've created a program. As you know, if we did have enough dollars to keep you in Lifeline, we've seamlessly rolled you over into Easy Pay. Easy Pay has no income requirements, so it doesn't matter how much money you make. If life gets in the way, you're able to just go put $10 down and be protected from shut off as long as you're making your payment. So it's phenomenally successful, far exceeded our expectations. You know, some of the other programs that we've rolled out more than a decade ago didn't have 5,000 people enrolled in those programs and had nowhere near the level of success with people maintaining their payments. And now we finally found the sweet spot. When you give them 36 months to pay off the bill, they see a path to get out from under this debt, and they actually make the payments, which we've said all along. If you give people a bill that they can afford to pay, they actually pay it and they get out from under the debt. So lots of discussion about Lifeline. We talk a lot about the Lifeline program as we should. It deserves the attention, but I just didn't want it to get past you that we have another program called Easy Pay that is not income qualified. Anyone can get into the program that I often say life has just gotten in the way. Maybe one person in the household has temporarily lost a job. Doesn't matter how, whatever it is, life's in the way, and they have a program that they can get into. So I just want to thank it's a team effort. Every unit within DWSD works on this program or touches this program in some capacity, and they should enjoy the success of the program. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Mr. Smalley. Yes.
Who may not be able to use a checking account or a charge can come in and make a payment in person. Is that correct?
Absolutely, they can, and we're not going to talk about it today, but we're even creating some new opportunities for people to be able to pay their bills that would be as easy as going into a CVS and picking up a prescription and also paying your water bill. So more to come on some more flexible opportunities for people to pay their bills. We need to make it easy for them to do it.
Director. Deputy Director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not going to go through the PowerPoint. I'm just going to give the board some high-level updates as to what we're working on. Our operations team has significantly increased the number of catch basin and miles of sewer they're cleaning on a weekly basis. And it looks like they're going to hit their goals of 600 miles of sewer cleaned and 6,000 catch basins cleaned this year. In addition to that, we've recently started 2 new contract as resources to fix catch basins, the ones that have been lingering for a while because either the structure had to be replaced or we had to break over the trap. So we're making progress in that area as well. Within our meter group, they are replacing between 250, sometimes up to 300 meters on a weekly basis. Their appointments are less than 2 weeks out. So they're doing a great job keeping current with their workload. We have a number of construction contracts out on the street. We're monitoring that. And one of the things, circling back to operations, is hard and soft surface restorations that has been an issue for decades here at DWSD. As of Monday, we had 360 hard restorations backlogged. In years past, that number was well over 1,000 or 2,000. So we are going to be caught up by the end of this construction season. Obviously, those holes that we have to dig in the middle of winter will have to carry over until next season. But it's our commitment to not carry over any of these hard restorations that we currently have on our plate into the winter. And then our
between hard and soft restorations for people who might be listening.
or concrete, whereas soft is grass, topsoil type stuff. Our security team has significantly increased the number of, our metering system, which is very advanced, can tell us if a homeowner appears to be leaking water in the middle of the night between midnight and 4 a.m. If we see water consumed in each of those 4-hour segments and the total amount of water is above a very high level, they go on our night leaker report, and they're visiting in excess of 40 homes per week, seeing if it really is a vacant flooding or what's going on and how can we assist. So we appreciate their efforts helping to reduce non-revenue water. Those are the highlights from operations and engineering right now. Thank you.
Smalley, does that complete your report, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Are there any questions for either of the director or the deputy director? Hearing none. The next item on the agenda is comments by commissioners. Are there any comments? Other than our crying and begging, no, congratulating our colleague on moving forward. If there are no, then no chair by the comments by the vice chair, except to say that we wish our chair well and hope that he'll be back with us soon. Are there any other matters? Hearing none, Yes, I'm sorry.
Take a moment to introduce my new colleague, Jonathan Demers. He's a new attorney. He'll be appearing in front of the board, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce him to you, let you see his face, and let you know he will be appearing in front of the board at some point.
Attorney Demers. And forward to hearing from you in the future. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. Chair will entertain a motion for adjournment. Been moved and supported. This meeting stands adjourned.
You bet.